Like, shit, I was just protecting my little brother.
When you did finally find out that it was King Von, how'd you feel?
Did you hear about what happened with Durk? His legal team crafted such a powerful release package that the judge actually requested a few days just to go through it all. Why? Because it starts with a bombshell. Durk was reportedly attacked in his cell block earlier this morning at LA County Jail. While details about his condition remain under wraps, his lawyers are now pushing for a transfer, claiming the facility has failed to ensure his safety. After all, the jail is legally bound to protect its inmates, but what happens when they don't? Now, here's where things get even more intriguing. Fans believe they've identified the attackers. Both Quando Rondo and Lil Tim released interviews, on say, the same day no less, with eerily matching messages. Coincidence? Some think so. But others are convinced it was a calculated move, possibly a way to throw off federal investigators and distance themselves from any suspicion of revenge. Following Tim's interview, Quando Rondo echoed his words, expressing regret about how everything unfolded. The people with me, they've got families, kids, mothers who love them with everything, he said. All this drama? It's dumb. It never had to go that way. He even imagined a completely different outcome, one where the situation turned into music, maybe even a multi-million-dollar song, rather than violence. But things take an even stranger turn here. One of the biggest twists in Durk's legal case centers on his lyrics, and whether they're just art or something more. A key line in one of his tracks says, "Look on the news and see your son, you screaming no, no," which eerily echoes a real-life moment where Quando was seen on video yelling, "No," distraught as a passenger in a car. Prosecutors believe it's a lyrical confession, but Durk's legal team argues otherwise. His lawyer made it clear in court, the lyrics are purely coincidental. In fact, Durk's producer stepped in to back that up, confirming that the track in question, Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy featuring Babyface Ray, was recorded 7 months before the fatal incident even took place. Official documents include timestamps from the original project file to prove it. Still, rumors are swirling. Some fans believe Quando and Tim might have orchestrated a setup while Durk was behind bars, using their interviews to control the narrative. But as Durk's lawyers begin unraveling the prosecution's so-called evidence, a glimmer of hope emerges. Unfortunately, it also seems to have rattled the other side. In a bold move, authorities carried out a major takedown, arresting figures like Big U, Brick Baby, and Loose Cannon, all allegedly tied to the Rollin' 60s gang. According to insiders, there's concern that Brick Baby might cooperate with authorities and give up information on Durk. The timing of these arrests has raised eyebrows, with some legal experts suspecting the feds are tightening the screws on Durk by building pressure from every angle. There's growing suspicion that Brick Baby might eventually fold under pressure and spill everything he knows about Durk. Why? It all started with something he said years ago. In a live stream from 3 years back, Brick Baby made a bold statement. "You can't say Durk never slid for Von. They got Lil Pab." That comment has since come back to haunt him, and Durk. When Durk got arrested, Brick Baby reacted to that old clip as if realizing the weight of his words. Was that live stream a casual statement or an accidental admission of something deeper? Federal agents certainly took notice, especially as federal charges started stacking up in California and other links began surfacing, like ties to the FBG cash case. What really set off a series of raised eyebrows was something far more direct and troubling for Brick Baby. According to federal documents, the rapper once made a chilling remark, hinting that he would have revealed the location of Quando Rondo to rapper Lil Durk if Durk had only asked for it. The specific words he used were, "At the end of the day, what's wrong with giving my homie the address? He lost his boy, and the dude who did it might be around. If he asked me, I probably would have been cool with it." The implications of such a statement are profound. Whether or not Brick Baby truly intended to follow through on such a suggestion, those words took on a far more serious tone when placed in front of a prosecutor. The idea that he would be willing to potentially betray a trust for revenge by disclosing the whereabouts of someone linked to a tragedy can be seen as a precursor to criminal behavior, particularly when violence is hinted at. Even in the context of a conversation, a statement like that carries a heavy burden of consequence, especially in a legal setting. The implications were further emphasized when Brick Baby referenced a similar sentiment in his music, rapping a line that echoed the same idea. If he make the call right now, I up right now. This lyric, much like his earlier statement, seems to suggest that he would act swiftly and without hesitation if Durk made such a request. With Brick Baby now behind bars and facing serious charges, the pressure to turn on those he may have been close to, including Durk, is growing increasingly intense. In the world of criminal justice, particularly when it comes to high-profile figures like Brick Baby, the threat of being coerced into making a deal with the prosecution is ever present. The question on many minds is whether Brick Baby will be pushed to testify against Durk, whose name has been associated with several tense and controversial situations within the rap community. In a case like this, where emotions run high and loyalties can shift quickly, there is always the possibility that the pressure to save oneself could lead to damning revelations. But just as the situation seemed poised for an explosive escalation, an unexpected twist occurred. Charleston White, a notorious figure known for his online antics and confrontations with various rappers, came forward with a surprising claim. According to White, he was the one responsible for Brick Baby's recent arrest. The reason behind this. White said that when Brick Baby visited Houston and made an offhand remark about posting a $10,000 bounty on White's head, whether in jest or not, he decided to take action. This wasn't just idle chatter for White, who is known for his controversial and often combative approach to the rap scene. White didn't take the matter lightly. First, he reported the alleged bounty to law enforcement in Houston, but that wasn't the extent of his efforts. White escalated the situation further, filing federal complaints with both Los Angeles authorities and LA County Police. According to Charleston, this was the chain of events that led to Brick Baby's arrest. Whether or not White's actions had a direct impact, the irony is evident. While Brick Baby's own words and actions brought him closer to legal peril, it was Charleston White's willingness to engage law enforcement that ultimately led to his downfall. This turn of events not only highlights the intricate web of rivalries and betrayals that exists within the rap community, but also underscores the far-reaching consequences of online statements and public feuds. With so many layers of influence at play, from potential alliances and betrayal to outside figures intervening, it's clear that this case is far from straightforward. The future of Brick Baby, Lil Durk, and even Charleston White seems increasingly uncertain as this story continues to unfold.
Whoever on my side, they got kids and a mama that 100% love them. And at the end of the day, bro, all this
Yet Charleston didn't do it to defend Durk. In fact, he's made it clear. He's no fan of the rapper. After Durk's arrest, Charleston celebrated publicly, calling it a win for the community. That dark force, that demonic energy, we finally get to put that fire out, he said. This is a victory for law-abiding Americans who enjoy hip-hop, but not the violence that's crept into it. As if that wasn't enough, Durk's legal situation became even more dire when the feds revealed they've collected over 230 gigabytes of digital evidence against him, including audio recordings. And if Brick Baby isn't the only one willing to talk, Durk might be facing more than just court battles. He could be up against a wall of testimony and tech-driven proof. Surveillance footage and over 20,000 pages of investigative reports are currently being processed as part of the discovery in Durk's case. This evidence is said to be a game changer, with sources claiming it came from a key figure, F member Jam. According to court updates, the feds believe Durk was financially involved in taking out two people. The first is Stefan Mack, who is accused of taking Durk's brother D-Thang's life, and the second is Jam's baby mama, who tragically passed after Durk discovered that Jam had been secretly wearing a wire. Fans, already piecing things together, point to an Instagram Live where Jam was visibly acting suspicious, repeatedly adjusting his jacket and whispering nervously, an indication he was hiding something. He kept muttering, "I ain't going to lie, I ain't going to lie," as if trying to cover his tracks while recording. The feds believe Jam is crucial to locking up Durk, especially after discovering that Jam had been wearing the wire around Durk. The authorities are reportedly aiming to hit Durk with 3 separate M-for-hire charges, alongside the already serious accusations tied to Stefan Mack's passing. The prosecutor even highlighted an Instagram story from Durk that read, "For the thang," which was posted just 30 minutes after his brother's death. It made it appear as if Durk was celebrating the loss of Stefan, though his supporters argue it's simply a tribute to his brother. The next day, there's an Instagram video of Durk laughing with his crew, which the prosecution used to fuel their argument that Durk was gloating. Ironically, Jam, the same man who was wearing the wire, had once been gifted $50,000 by Durk, just a year prior. This startling contrast shows how quickly loyalty can shift when people are pressured by the feds. In one of his posts, Jam appears to mock the situation, saying things like, feed him, and making fun of those who are still crying over things, showing how quickly alliances can crumble when money and pressure are in the mix. But it doesn't stop there. Behind the scenes, fans also noticed something strange in the background of one of Durk's Instagram posts. The suspects tied to Lil Pab's crime were actually close to King Von before his passing, which, in the eyes of investigators, suggests Durk had the connections and motive to orchestrate the hit. As the case continues to unfold, it becomes clear that Durk had sensed something off about Jam long before his betrayal. In an interview, Durk himself explained how he can always tell when someone's cooperating against him, revealing his sharp instincts when it comes to people flipping on him. "I see stuff from a mile away," he said, hinting that he's no stranger to the game and can tell when someone's loyalty shifts. Durk's instincts are sharp, and he's quick to spot a rat. As he puts it, "I could have a conversation with someone for 5 seconds and I'd know if they're about to cooperate." He's learned the hard way, which is why he's more secretive than ever about his personal life. Durk admits that even his closest friends don't know where he lives anymore. "Nobody is ever allowed to come to my house," he said, adding, "My best friend? Never been to my house for real." His trust is razor thin, especially when it comes to his kids. "I don't let anyone around my grill and my kids. I'm just a different type of person. It's not a family night at my house. It's all about keeping watch. We gotta watch everybody. If you get too close to my kids, you know what to do." That's how he operates, on high alert. The reality of Jam's betrayal hit Durk like a ton of bricks. By the time he figured it out, it was already too late. Jam had been collecting recorded evidence against him, and the feds were ready to make their move. In response, Durk sent his crew to handle the situation. Jam was eventually found hiding in a house outside Atlanta, reportedly punished for snitching. Photos even surfaced showing the exterior of the home where Jam had been holed up. As the investigation into Durk deepens, even DJ academics weighed in, suggesting that Durk may have inadvertently snitched on himself. Academics pointed out how Durk's lyrics almost seemed like a confession. In 2020, Durk's brother Dathang dies. In 2021, Von's tragic passing. And by 2022, Durk seems to hint at a payback for both losses. Durk's 2023 album, I'm Almost Healed, only added fuel to the fire, with fans drawing connections between his life and his music. This sparked rumors that even more F members were considering turning on Durk. Amidst all this chaos, Fei stepped in to calm the speculation. He took to social media saying, "Y'all don't know what's going on in those courtrooms. Those are false accusations. You're out here acting like detectives, but you don't really know what's happening. You're throwing out rumors about Jam and even saying Vonnie's a snitch. Y'all are just being weird." He emphasized that he stays out of anything illegal to avoid getting wrapped up in the mess. And then, a jail phone call surfaced, with Durk reassuring his fans that he's staying strong through it all. "This call is from a federal prison," Durk said, his voice calm but firm. "We ain't never moved our money except for that first time, and once it was locked in, it was history. We good, bro. I know how it be." He stayed confident. Nothing, it seemed, could break him. Durk has been vocal about his mindset, saying, "If you can't afford 10 Maybachs, don't buy one." His message is about being humble and keeping a low profile, focusing on long-term goals instead of flashy spending. His team has been strategically posting clips of him talking about staying grounded. One video, captioned with his words about not thinking backwards and staying focused on the bigger picture, made it clear that Durk's philosophy isn't just about money, but about doing things on his own terms. Durk even mentioned, "I'll wear the same 5 outfits for 5 days straight and I don't care. I sell everything I have. I've got one car. It's not that I can't get more, it's that I just don't want to."
Then it's people like, you lined up somebody from your hood. Like, listen, I didn't. But at the end of the day, what's wrong with...
Fans quickly realized what his team was up to. Many commented that these posts, showcasing Durk's more motivational and reflective side, were clearly aimed at showing the judge that Durk's influence has always been positive. It seemed like an intentional attempt to highlight his character beyond the public narrative. Even DJ Academics got involved, tweeting, "We're praying for Durk, by the way. He sent word he's gonna have the album of the year." Shortly after, an insider revealed Durk's album was on the way, but there's more happening behind the scenes than what meets the eye. Someone close to the situation even added, "Free Durk," fueling more speculation and hope for his release. Lawyer familiar with Durk's case gave a possible timeline for his release, explaining that it all depends on the tenacity of the U.S. attorney and the assistant U.S. attorney involved. If they really want someone badly enough, they'll offer attractive deals to those involved. They go for the lowest hanging fruit first, someone who didn't have much involvement but could still flip. It seems like the feds are looking for someone to give up the details, and they'll start with the most likely candidate, who could be offered a deal in exchange for information. The lawyer was also cautious about the strength of the case against Durk, noting that while the indictment has strong elements, it's far from a slam dunk. He referenced a text message where Durk allegedly asked not to be linked to certain individuals' travel plans. While it wasn't a good look, the lawyer argued it wasn't enough to build a case on its own. It's circumstantial at best. We'll have to wait and see what other evidence they have, whether it's a snitch, a video, or audio recordings, before we can really assess the situation. The legal battle is far from over, and there's still a long way to go before anything is decided.